Austria, the country of Mozart and Strauss, mountains, Schnitzel, you know, all the stuff you always hear about Austria, right? Well, you'll see none of that today because I am in Wiener Neustadt. And behind me here is Austria's military academy. So this military academy is what Wiener Neustadt is actually very famous for. And happened to visit a friend today who actually went to this. However, he didn't finish it. But it's actually regarded as a pretty good military education for Austrian standards here. And it's a pretty nice building as well. But let's be honest, our military kind of sucks. It's one of the worst in Europe. But still, that's what Wiener Neustadt is very famous for. Military academy. Now I will not show you military today. Maybe we'll see some soldiers strolling around, I don't know. But what I want to show you is the city center, because Wiener Neustadt is unfortunately also famous for a sad statistic, and that is that it's one of the most empty cities in Austria. And what I mean by empty? Well, we'll see. Where are the tanks? Well, all the tanks are probably in Vienna. I mean, they need to be somewhere. I don't know how many we really have. And those we have, I think, are just so old. They won't win any wars. Let's just say that. People talk a lot about military spending, troop power, and all that. To Austria, it never really mattered that much after Second World War because it became a neutral country. It's not in NATO, it's not in any kind of alliance. So our military budget was always, well, set to a minimum. And what our military does mostly is just help out in like catastrophe cases, or when there's something happening like floodings, avalanches and stuff. The military helps the people. So, you know, that's what our military does most of the time. Also, this region of Austria is very windy. Niederösterreich, or like Lower Austria, always the wind blows a lot. And so it's always colder than it really is. But what's crazy is it's got 8.5 degrees Celsius here. What? Back home where I live, it has -3 and snow. And here 8.5. How is that possible? It's not even that far away. Nobody will really tell you that Wiener Neustadt is famous for its sights, but I think we can still find some decent sights. So it's a church. I think I'm on the right track. Hey, look, there's my car. It's already some first evidence of empty shops and empty restaurants. And we are almost in the center. So up ahead is the main square. So here is the reason why Wiener Neustadt is considered one of the most empty cities. It suffers a lot from closed shops. Now, a lot of people probably think, hey, yeah, that's because people move away and it's not an economically good city. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Actually, it's a pretty good city economically. They have a lot of industry here. They have education. They have Fachhochschule, which is sort of like a university here. There are a lot of jobs here. There's a lot of money here. And yet, shops are closed. How is that possible, guys? Well, I'll tell you once we are in the square. But here is the main square of Wiener Neustadt. They've got a little Christmas market going. Doesn't look too bad, does it? Really isn't as bad as always people say. It's not like a decaying city, or, well, people move away and they want to flee here because there are no opportunities. Again, that's not true. That's not the case. Now here in the main square, I actually see all the houses have shops in them. Well, that's a bank. There's a cafe. Here only one is empty. The rest is still all rented out. Maybe it's not so bad. Some nice old buildings. Typical Austria style. Nicely done. So the main square is a nice place in Wiener Neustadt, as you see. And actually not empty. So that one is not closing down, they're just doing discount. Even the Esper has empty shops. They still have some chains here. We'll check out this beautiful dome in a second. But yeah, I mean, you can't deny there are a lot of empty stuff. Empty shops, empty restaurants, cafes, you name it. This one is completely empty, for example. This is not a problem from Wiener Neustadt alone. This is actually a whole federal problem, so to say. In my home city, very little city in the east of Austria, it is exactly the same. The city centers, they struggle. There are more and more people moving out because of the shopping centers, the shops, they go to the shopping malls and centers outside of the city, the restaurants follow, and then this happens. And the problem is also, I'm told that rent is very expensive as well. A lot of people, they can't afford the rent, or they don't feel like it's worth it. They can't make the money to pay for the rent to make it worthwhile. So there's a big problem, and it's Austria wide. So it's also happening in the bigger cities. For example, in Graz, it's not as bad, but still it's happening here and there. And it always hits the smaller guys, and that makes me very sad, because as you saw, the big chains, which are like well-known chains in Austria, the Hämmerle, for example, is like a clothing chain. They have the resources. They don't care about that. But the smaller ones, for example, this dude, whoever that was, he probably, he had to close down. And so it just always the same. The small ones struggle. And the big ones, they can afford everything. told you we're gonna find some nice stuff in Wiener Neustadt. Look at that. Beautiful dome. And the wind. It's a thing I associate with Wiener Neustadt, wind. But that's probably the most beautiful building in the city, in my opinion. Nicely restored. It was completely leveled, I think, after World War II. So I did read that Wiener Neustadt is actually trying to combat this issue with the empty shops, and they're trying to make it more attractive, giving bonuses to new business owners or people that want to open businesses in the center, making it easier. So I hope they succeed. There's also this nationwide talk and the war on cars, because they want to get rid of cars in the center and just make everything walkable like this. But that was long before that debate even started. However, they're trying to make this more, which I generally think is a good idea. However, if you want to do shopping, it's just a given thing that you have a lot of stuff. You want to carry stuff throughout the whole city to your car, which is somewhere. Not everybody lives in a city. And that makes shopping centers so attractive because it's low effort. Good example right here. Sunday closed. And that one's closed too. Okay, search continues. Oh, it looks sweet. Look at that. Ah, there's one open. This is one of the couple of restaurants which are open on Sunday, because a lot of businesses struggle to find people, they struggle to find staff, and staff needs to be paid a lot more on a Sunday than on a regular day. And combine those two things and the already very high prices for staff in Austria, that's the reason. They rather close down and lose business a little bit rather than have those costs. Nationwide problem. Look at that. There again, revamping, getting rid of the cars and making it only pedestrian and bike. I'm saying it once again, I'm generally a fan. I think it's a good thing in cities. But like annihilating the cars and then wanting people to buy things, you tell me. No, not everybody's gonna drive it with their bicycle around. We're not in the Netherlands. For a lot of countries, it's probably an odd thing to see all the shops closed on a Sunday, but here in Austria and Germany, for example, people don't work on Sunday, and so the shops are closed, and so therefore you can't buy anything, not even groceries. Only very few selected ones are open, and like at gas stations you can still get groceries, but for the most part, grocery shops are closed on a Sunday. So here is again an example of their green offensive. They're trying to get people to use these bikes where you can actually carry things. And for people that live here in the city, that's definitely an option. However, for example, for me, that wouldn't be an option. I'd have to bike it up a hill. Don't really care about that, honestly. So this is the thing. It works so good for city people, but still people are gonna take what's more convenient. Well, hopefully their service isn't ass. I am right now craving a good Austrian Wiener Schnitzel. It's one of my favorite foods. It's an Austrian signature dish. Everybody knows it around the world, of course. It's not that easy to get on a Sunday in Austria anymore. You can get a kebab all day long. I love kebab. Had one yesterday, but today actually I want a schnitzel. You know, I find it just very sad that those very long running old businesses and restaurants that have been here for generations have to close down because of rent, because of missing staff, because of general price hikes, power and gas, you name it. Just so sad. And all those big chains are taking over, and you know, there are a lot of McDonald's built and Starbucks and stuff. Granted, we only have Starbucks in Vienna, but you know what I mean. Just all those big chains, they come here, they set up another store, which it's the same all over the world. And it's just such a sad thing. If you go to Austria or Germany as well, look for a restaurant next to a big dome or a church. And the smaller the city, the better. Because that restaurant is gonna be top notch. If it wouldn't be, it would be closed. Yeah, that looks good, guys. That's what I needed. That was a very good schnitzel. Definitely approved. And not expensive as well. So it is now time for me to leave Wiener Neustadt. I will still have to go to Vienna today to a concert. And that was the whole reason also why I ended up here in the first place. But yeah, what can I say? It isn't really so bad. Wiener Neustadt doesn't really look any more empty, or not that much more empty than other cities I've seen in Austria. As I said, most of them suffer from this problem with empty shops and empty restaurants. It's not a new thing. So that is it. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss from Wiener Neustadt in Lower Austria. It's not really a tourist destination, but I'm sure it's got great people, and I think that's all that matters, right? See you later. Bye bye.